Recording is progress. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much. And I welcome everybody to this noble platform. And today is the 20th of December, 2021. This is our third Continental Board meeting that we are hosting today, and to discuss strategic issues around UnityNet Africa and Diaspora Continental Development Programs, to see what we can do as Africans together with our global partners to support development in Africa through climate smart, resilient agricultural interventions, and also learning opportunities, education, and as well as also social entrepreneurship activities. So before we move further, can we get ourselves introduced? I want to hand over that one to Madam Jane, the Secretary General, the Continental Secretary General, to facilitate that process for people to introduce themselves. Just short, 1 minute introduction. Go to the point right away. Your name and your role that you are playing through UnityNet Africa and Diaspora. Thank you.
I would also recommend that each participant include their contact information in the chat so you can follow up with them. And also, everyone should rename themselves with their proper name so that we can keep track of who is speaking, and then we'll be able to follow up. Thank you so much.
Absolutely true. And also, please, if you are not talking, make sure you mute your mic so that we don't have negative feedback. And so don't forget, the chat box is there to fill whatever relevant information you want to input so that we move this particular vehicle. Thank you. Over to you, Madam Jane. Can you please facilitate the introduction briefly? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Carlos. I have a very sore voice. My throat is inflamed, and I don't know how long I can be able to facilitate this. So I don't know whether I can get some assistance for today. Please, if you don't mind.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so let's go right away. Let's start from your side. Jane, can you just introduce yourself?
Okay. Yeah. My name is Jane Joroge, and I'm the Secretary General of UnityNet Africa and Diaspora. I'm also the President of UnityNet Kenya chapter. And it's an honor to be in the platform today. And thank you all for adhering to the call for this meeting. So God bless you, and we are gonna have a great moment.
Thank you. And next to Evelyn. Evelyn, can you unmute and introduce yourself?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. And nice to meet you all members. Good evening, good afternoon. My name is Evelyn Acheno, the Assistant Project Director, UnityNet Uganda chapter. Thank you.
Thank you. And next to, I'm seeing Lauren. Lauren, can you introduce yourself? Can you unmute yourself, please, Lauren? Okay, if Lauren is not ready yet, can we have Essia? Warrior, can you introduce yourself? Yes, go ahead. After Essia, we have Suzanne. After Suzanne, then of course, as they are coming in. Go ahead. Esia, we are listening, please. You unmuted yourself already. Okay, Susan, can you introduce yourself?
Yes, good evening, everyone. My names are Susan Wausi Yego, UnityNet Kenya. I'm the project director. Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, okay. We still, Lauren. Lauren, can you introduce yourself? Who else is there? Okay, and Ambrose, can you introduce yourself? Ambrose. Ambrose. Okay, Ayodele, can you introduce yourself? Ayodele, can you unmute and introduce yourself briefly?
Okay, good evening to everyone on board. I wish you happy Merry Christmas and New Year in advance. My name is Ayodele Isaac, the President UnityNet Africa and Diaspora Uganda Chapter, the Director of Media and Communications of UnityNet Africa and Diaspora are board members. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ayodele. And next to Ayodele, we have Doris. Doris Kamangara.
Thank you, President. I'm called Doris Kamagara, Vice Secretary General, UnityNet Uganda Chapter.
Thank you, Doris. And then we have Esia Warero. Okay, can we have Namara Ato? Namara Ato, can you introduce yourself briefly?
Thank you very much, Professor. My name is Namara Afarali. I'm the Secretary General for Uganda chapter. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Lauren Umbugwa, can you introduce yourself? Unmute yourself, please. Okay, can we have Willis Okumu to introduce?
Good afternoon, good evening. My name is Willis Okumu, the Vice President, UnityNet Kenya Chapter. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And Ambrose Okite. Ambrose Okite.
Thank you very much. My name is Okite Ambrose. I'm in Uganda and working for Village Synergy in Northern Uganda. In the network, I am the project director of UnityNet Africa and Diaspora. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Is anybody there that has not been able to introduce his or herself?
Good evening and good afternoon, everyone. My name is Emma Kimani Muchoge. I am the Finance Director at UnityNet Kenya. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay. Is anybody else? Okay. Thank you very much. My name is Carlos Richard Sanko. I'm the Continental President for UnityNet Africa and Diaspora, and also a co-founder, Global UnityNet Business, and also a founder of UnityNet Sierra Leone. And I'm here today facilitating this particular meeting, as we are awaiting our colleague, Lloyd, who will be joining us, so that to look at the broader picture of UnityNet, both continental Africa and as well as the global index. And so today, can you please just give me a small time to share what we have today, what we are going to look at. So already the introduction is done. After the introduction, we have establishment of regional network of the Global Unity Network in the Ottawa Valley Capital Region. This is Toronto. 2, proposed Global Climate Smart Youth Forum Nigeria 2022. Number 3, possibilities for development of future partnership between Tane, EV Canada, once established, and Canada Africa Partnership Network for the purpose of executing the proposed reverse Ctp program on both continents, Africa and Turtle Island. And if we have time, we're going to discuss the AHIABGA-TV diplomacy initiative of the CDF, GWDN, Agri-Food Diplomacy Initiative. Andrew will going to assist us in this area. And number 5, the Abraham, I call it Abrahamic Project, a Global Unity Network, 2020 World Environmental Day Collaborative Tree Planting Showcase. And after that one, we'll be wrapping up action points, next step, next meeting, timing, and we close for probably this year, and our next meeting for 2022. So before we discuss this one, I want to provide an overview what we have been doing in Africa at continental level. And so far, we have 10 active African UnityNet chapters that are really functional, that are in the process of legalizing or legalization in every country, in their local countries. And so therefore, what we have been doing is for us to set what we call the continental level, the secretariat at continental level, of which the team in Uganda have been working assiduously to ensure we accomplish this particular area, to ensure that we, as Uganda has become the secretariat for UnityNet Africa and Diaspora, and so that by 2022 starting, we are going to formally functioning in Uganda, and of course, and all other chapters in Africa that are readily established. And so in between, we are also opening new chapters both Francophone and Anglophone countries. Sorry, Anglophone, Francophone, and as well as countries in the north, the Arab countries, so that we all, the 55 countries, will be able to benefit from UnityNet Africa and Diaspora or Global Unity Network Business Interventions. So therefore, so far we've gone, we've gone so far for the legalization of UnityNet Africa and Diaspora at continental level. I want to invite Mr. Ayodele, who is the president of UnityNet Uganda, and at the same time, who's also the communication lead at continental level, to provide for us a summary background of so far what they have done in terms of enhancing the compliance system of UnityNet Africa and Diaspora in Uganda. Thank you. Over to you, Mr. Ayodele. Can you please unmute yourself and say a summary message around this one? Thank you.
Thank you, our president. I think before I can do that, I saw Prince Andrew raising up his hand. Probably he has something to say.
Oh, yeah, yes. Andrew, go ahead. Yes, sorry.
No worries. I was following your own advice and putting it in the chat. I just suggested you also consider including the Lusophone countries or Portuguese countries, such as Angola, Cabo Verde, etc. Thank you.
Thank you. Copied. So please, the Continental Secretary, take note of that one. It's very important. Go ahead, Ayodele.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Good evening, our team members. We want to, once again, on behalf of Uganda, we're going to appreciate you for the opportunity you have given to us by voting for Uganda as a Continental Secretariat. This is how far we have gone. Contrary to the first report that we gave, that the name UnityNet, UnityNet Africa and Diaspora was not given. But now we have a good news that it has been officially given and reserved.
Wow, let's clap, let's clap, let's clap, let's clap. That's a good news. Let's clap. Thank you. Yes, go ahead.
So, yes, we have paid some amount of money for the name reservation and also to get the certificate from the URSP. Only what is just needed now is the board member.
Oh, yeah, your network is wobbling, really. Yes. Your network is wobbling. Okay, so we having some problems with your network, and so I don't know if Madam Gabriela is there. If she can come in, she has a clear network, can just go ahead from what so far Bishop Ayodele has said or submitted. Do we have or any member of the team from?
I'm sorry for the network breaking. Secondly, we have been given a temporary secretariat by our chapter secretary. One of the office, one of the apartment in their office where he also is using for secretariat in Entebbe. Remember that anyone coming to Uganda, you just have to pass through Entebbe, because Entebbe is where the Uganda International Airport is located. So that place is very strategic for any of our international board members or global directors coming. You don't need to drive on a long distance before accessing our secretariat. So thank you. This is the development so far in Uganda. We are very, very grateful.
Great. That is good news for UnityNet Africa and Diaspora. Thank you. Thank you. Kudos to the team in Uganda on behalf of the Continental board, and also on behalf of the global board. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. We appreciate what you are doing and what you plan also to continue doing. And so do we have Madam Gabriela there?
It's not yet
online.
It's not yet
She's
online.
not yet on board.
Okay. So in summary, around the issue of the compliance system to ensure that we are able to match up with the Uganda request, their legal system in terms of registration, to match up with it based on what they ask us. And so far at Continental Board, we ensure that we set ourselves into various committees that will be looking into the various needs of setting up the compliance system of UnityNet in Africa, so that it will be able to function legally in every country. We ensure that we avoid the mistakes some of the organizations that have been coming and operating in Africa, and ensure that we support our continental culture system that will enhance what we call the proper development arena that UnityNet is going to bring. So therefore, so far, most of the policies from the submissions of the Continental Secretariat, almost all the policies are really there now. Or all what we need to do is, though we are going for holidays, is for us to put all these policies in their rightful status, and so that they will be able to match up with the requirements from Uganda. And that will be our next step for some of the key board members within the Continental Board, that we are going for holiday, but in between we'll be working assiduously to ensure that early January or in January, we are able to register the Continental Secretariat in Uganda. So I want to thank all the subcommittees who made it possible to ensure that they do their own homework, to ensure that the focus, the priority, what exactly we are looking out for is to ensure we push UnityNet Africa and Diaspora to ensure that its objectives are enhanced, and at the end of the day, the community people there will be able to benefit, and then of course we will leave no one behind. So I thank you so much for all the rest of the team for what you have been doing, and I'm really grateful. And so we're going to look at maybe the challenges we are facing at some point, looking at what we call participation from some countries, some chapters who are part of this particular drive. I don't know if we have any member from Nigeria. If we have any member from Nigeria, can those people introduce themselves so that we know them? Do you, team members, do you identify people from Nigeria from the attendance?
No, sir, there isn't.
Okay, so far, this is exactly one of the major challenges we are facing. Nigeria has the biggest or the largest population in Africa, and it is one of our major partner country in ensuring this UnityNet Africa and diaspora. And so far, this is the third meeting that we are hosting at continental level. We will not be able to get a representative or representation from Nigeria. And I want to provide you an update. After our meeting the last time, though I was sick, but I did my best to engage some Nigeria board members. And they promised me that they are going to ensure that they participate this particular meeting that we are now. Unfortunately, we are yet to see them. So it is a serious challenge from our side or on our side. And we still encourage Nigeria to come on board to ensure that we all be in this vehicle of development that we are going to promote in Africa, that we're going to demonstrate serious changes that will be different from other partners' intervention before now. And so that is why for us, our intervention is at community level. So that's exactly our focus. So I want to, yes, I see Ayodele want to say something. Ayodele, yes, go ahead. Ayodele,
thank
go
you.
ahead.
Yes, thank you, our president, continental president. I just want to say this, which I want every one of us to understand, that humanitarian organization responsibility is a calling. And not everyone believes in that calling. And not everyone believes in either free service. Being a CEO of organization or being a service provider in humanitarian organization is a passion. So when you establish an organization and you hand over the vision to someone who does not have a passion for it, you realize that those people will be given a different excuses for not coming on board to attend meeting. That is number one. If you are a service provider, no matter your level, no matter your capacity or your profile, you will be humble enough to work with the team. If we follow the history of UnityNet, where before we are being introduced to UnityNet, we met some people on the platform. With some of them, their motive is quite different to the motive of the visionaries or the founders and the co-founders. But until when we started sorting things out before we could get it right. As you said, as our president, Nigeria is a very big market, and which any organization in Africa that wanted to go far or succeed needs to work with and partner with. So I think we need, I still want to give an advice that possibly before the year end, if we can set up a committee that we meet with this team from Nigeria. Because number one, you have met them in person. Then let's also meet them as a committee or a group to have a meeting with them. Then maybe by the time we'll be having our first year meeting next year, if still they are not responding to our meeting, then it means, just the Bible says, if you are not with us, it means that you are against us. So if they fail to attend our meeting, automatically we have to dissolve the board there and reappoint the new set of people that will work with us. That is my submission.
Thank you very much, Bishop Ayodele. I agree with you. And I think the last time from the closure of the second meeting, we agreed that let's have representation from the Continental Presidency and also from the communication team and etc. And that is not close. So that committee is going to stand and ensure that and facilitate the process of what we call inclusion, continental inclusion or participation. And there are 5 members there. We have the presidency, the Continental Presidency, and we have the communication team. We have members from the executive director of programs, etc. So those were the different areas of people or responsibilities we identified the last time that will come together to facilitate the process of what we call inclusion or participation from partners. So that, and I think we also agreed that in our constitution, we're going to have clear bylaws that we're going to look at those areas for punishment for partners or any country that is not really responding or participating based on expectation. What, as a continent, we are going to do, that's an agreement, because this particular development will leave no one behind. And also, let us remember, let us think about it that if we notice and we confirm finally that from any country that there are people who are not interested to what we are doing, what I am suggesting is for us to look for alternatives. Alternatives in the sense, let's look out for people that we think they are ready to sing the same song with us that we are singing now. And so that the dancing skills or styles will going to be simulated accordingly. So that is my suggestion towards this one. And so I don't know from the rest of the members of the board that are here, what do you think? What are your suggestions around this one? What are we going to do to ensure that we enhance active participation or collaboration of partners individually as well as at country level. So this is a question that's going to all of us. Let us discuss. This is Africa. Anybody that wants to talk, you can raise your hand, and then any submission from the rest of the team members? Okay, I think yes, Madam Jane, go ahead. Yes, go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. President, Dr. Carlos, for the opportunity. I think I concur with what Bishop Ayodele has said. And as we follow what was suggested and what was decided in our last meeting, that is last Monday, that we give them a chance of 4 meetings. If they don't attend within the 4 meetings, then we can actually maybe come up with a resolution of the way forward for the teams that are not in participation. And then we suggested that we are going to come up with maybe some kind of maybe laws, rules and regulations, some rules, some laws, that will govern us, so that everyone can actually be able to be informed in what applies in case they don't abide. So I concur that an action needs to be taken, because the foundation of anything is very much important. If the foundation that is laid is weak, then the building is not going to stand. If this organization is going to last for generations and even cater for the next maybe like 4 generations, then we have to really be mindful about the foundation we are laying. It has to be very firm so that it can support whatever we are building for the many generations that are coming. Yeah, so that's my submission.
Thank you so much, Madam Jane. That's very, those are very good submissions. And yes, I'm seeing Reverend Sampson. Yeah, Reverend Sampson. Yes, go ahead. Unmute yourself, Reverend Sampson. Yes, thank you. Go ahead.
Okay. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity, our able president, Dr. Carlos. I'm very grateful for this great meeting that we have. I'm just going to support what our Secretary General has submitted, and also Bishop, our able Bishop Isaac has also submitted. That is what I'm going to support. But I want to bring it in another area that is very vital for us. If you look at the policies of every NGO, we call it NGOs and associations, we need to have the policies that guides such matters, so that every country chapter will understand what is on the table, so that when a chapter or a country misses to adhere to that, then they know the consequences that follows. For example, in this case, I want to echo what Madam Jane has said, that during the last meeting, there was an echo over this, and it was supposed to be followed. But I want to maybe suggest in an area, for example, in Kenya, if you want to maybe remove somebody, or you want to remove a team from an active NGO or an association, the law states clearly that you summon the first 2, 3, 4, as Jen has said, and then the 5th one, now you write a letter that requires this kind of an individual in a given meeting. Then now when this group of people will fail to attend the meeting, now the board or the team has now the final word to say on that. it means the general secretary or the president or rather the chairperson has now the records that if one day they will come up and say we were not cautioned or we were not called upon on a meeting, but now the chairperson or the secretary will come out, we have the records with us. So I'm suggesting that through your office and our able secretary's office, there need to be, we need to summon them to attend our meeting for the last time. Then after that, if they will not attend or not, then now the board or your office now can take the necessary action towards any other thing that the people will pass, because we need to be more serious. As Bishop said, you know, serving the community, it is a call. It is something that a person feels from his heart. So we want to serve Africa. And as you have mentioned, Nigeria is potential. It has got the high population for Africa. So it means we need to be more serious. So that is what I can maybe put as my input. Thank you very much, and God bless us.
Thank you so much, and I think that is right. All your submissions, what you've said, I support them. So I don't know if there's, Ambrose. Yeah, Ambrose, go ahead, briefly.
Yes, thank you so much, Tim. My proposal would be one, I'm not deviating from what members have actually said, but I was of the view that maybe the responsible persons should really try to understand why these people are not logging in through maybe asking them some questions or like to talk to them to understand what is the issue, why they're not able to log in. Because we may assume they are on the no, and yet maybe they have challenges in logging in and also attending some of the meetings we have. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ambrose. From my engagement with the Nigerian team, some members, what they have so far been submitting, that one, that most of the major leaders, the leading members within UnityNet Nigeria, they are super surrounded with a lot of assignments. So with those assignments warranting them not to participate in UnityNet, mostly the meetings, not only the continental meetings, but also even Ubuntu IEG weekly meetings, the global meetings. That is one aspect of it. The other aspect of it, some people are saying they are constrained with internet system. And so, so some people, like one or two are saying, if UnityNet is going to provide airtime, is going to provide internet service for their participation. So those are some of the comments that have been coming. So even my engagement, my meeting with them has been like, even after facilitating a Zoom meeting, a Zoom link or Google link, you find out that they will not be participating at all. So at the end of the day, unless we exchange what we call messages in between. So that's exactly the stuff. So we're going to summarize this point. It's not only Nigeria, but we are looking at now and the future, what we are going to do. And already we have foundation of very strong submissions, what we are going to do. So this will be the final submission around this one. Then we're going to move to the next point. Thank you. And over to Namara. Yes, Namara, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Professor. And it's good that you have really given us an insight that you are in touch with this team, our team from Nigeria, which is very good. What I seem to understand is that actually they have not refused and they are not willing to move with us. But there are two things: either they are constrained because of their jobs, or because of airtime, or MBs or something like that. I'm of the view that some people can delegate. I mean, if that team can get one who is not very busy and delegates that person to be participating in our meetings, that's one. Because some people are important as torch bearers. If someone is in something as a head or a patron or something in a country, there is community ownership and a belief in that person. So if we have some of those ones who are big, they are recognized, but they are too busy, can we have them delegate some of their responsibilities to their team members? And then we move forward without leaving anyone behind.
Okay, thank you so much. And Ayodele wants to say the last point. Ayodele, you have 1 minute. Thank you, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. I just want to comment on your submission. Number one, being busy, some of the people that are on board from Nigeria, probably some of them are very big. Probably they are VIPs, which have a lot of commitment to something else. That is number one. Number two, the demanding for MBs. So which means that when someone is joining an organization and you are placing a demand, it means that you are not ready. I remember when we are setting up a board, we talk about volunteer, which people need to understand. Yes, we are not saying that everything is going to be free, but at the initial stage now, we are talking about a volunteer. Especially, we need to do the work before anything can come as a fund. And even though if the fund comes, it is not, we are not going to be sharing the money. It is going to also be for the community. So I will suggest that number one, maybe after, if we can work on Nigeria, because why the Nigeria is very sensitive is that the vice president of the UnityNet Africa is from Nigeria. Now, I will suggest that probably we should not struggle with any country that are not willing to come on board voluntarily now. Possibly some of the countries that we have on board now, let's look at how we can strengthen them. Strengthen some of this country. Then when maybe probably, if God help us, if we started getting a project and funds started coming, then we can now begin to penetrate into some other countries so that we not begin to give ourselves unnecessary stress. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I'm happy with all the submissions so far. So I think a word for a wise is quite sufficient. We move because we don't want to misuse our time. And so the next thing we are going to discuss is about, we are closing 2021 and we are moving to 2022. Our plans. Number one, our plans are as follows. One, we're going to ensure that we fulfill all the registration demands from every country, from every chapter that we are currently operating, or every country. So that is one major fill out that we are going to look at. All right, then the second aspect of it that we are also going to work is we are going to ensure that in 2022, we start implementation of projects at continental level. And on that note, that has helped us so much that Mr. Lloyd brought the following suggestions that are highlighted initially here. Yes. Sorry, I'm struggling with technology. I'm struggling with technology, really. And so therefore, let me ask, I'm trying to figure that out. Let me just highlight the particular intervention, major intervention in 2022. And for us to look at it and discuss it as to how we think as a continent, we are going to do it. And what are the partners we need in ensuring this particular intervention is enhanced? 3, the resources we need to ensure that we are going to maximize this intervention. And then, of course, the 4th point of it is the target number of trees that we are going to use. And then, of course, the target communities, the target regions, the target communities, or the target districts, and this intervention, we want for it to be all over Africa, the 55 countries. But that's not going to be possible. So what I want to say here, in next year, we are planning now, we are going to plant millions of trees, millions and millions of trees. Tree planting is going to be one of our first foundational projects that we are going to start with in Africa. The reasons are as follows. 1, we all currently we are in Africa. And globally, we know that climate change negatively affecting the globe. So therefore, we have seen numerous organizations purporting to be facilitating or implementing what we call tree planting projects all over Africa. But for us, actually the reverse. I will give you a brighter example for my country in Sierra Leone. Currently, we are feeling what we call the desertation system coming closely, overwhelming Sierra Leone. The reason because we have seen the current activities that the Chinese have overwhelmed this country. Every part of this country cutting down trees. Every day, timber logging, cutting down trees, taking these timbers abroad to their countries. They go to our country authorities. They go to our local authorities. They meet with them, fill them with flamboyant, what I call flamboyant information, that as if they are going to remedy the issue of climate change in our communities. Rather, the opposite is exactly what is happening. So we've seen serious connivance from states to community level, stakeholders conniving with these international partners that are or tree cutting in moving with thousands living, hello.
Yes, we
Hello.
can hear you. We can hear
We
you
lost
clearly.
you.
Living our land naked, vulnerable. For me, this is disturbing me every day, because when I go out there, the way I'm suffering as a result of the climate change, the rays of the sun, etc., and the activities that is happening, the desert is beginning to take over our communities, our land, of which Sierra Leone is not a desert land, it's not a desert place. This is worrisome. I know similarly, these are activities that are also going on in other countries, in other African countries. And so UnityNet is here to ensure that we change the music, we change the dance style towards this package and ensure that we bring what we call sustainable remedy towards what is happening now. So therefore, our first project intervention is going to be what we call planting or promoting trees. Trees of peace and reconciliation, trees of development, or of whatever you call it. This is exactly is going to be our focus. So let us discuss how many trees we want to plant globally. How many trees we want to plant per country, per chiefdom or per region. And let's get the mathematics, the dy, dx around this one, the integration around it. And so that at the end of the day, we will be having our paradigm very, very clear. Thank you. So this is a discussional, it's very important. Let's go ahead now. Whoever wants to talk can raise hand. Okay. So Adele, before you talk, I want Lloyd to deliberate on this particular area, because we're going to have what we call an integrated global project that's going to look at the global focus for global unity networks. And this is fine. So Mr. Lloyd, you are welcome. And over to you. Go ahead. You have the podium now. Thank you.
Thank you, Carlos. So I'm coming in a little bit late. I know this probably started an hour ago, right?
Yes.
So I actually just got off the call with Marie, who's in Ottawa. So she has agreed that we will create a UnityNet Gov, which means Greater Ottawa Valley. So as our second Unity Network local chapter in Canada, and that will help us to establish UnityNet Canada, which will align itself with Twikitane EV Canada, which will align with the establishment of the 4K clubs in each interfaith neighborhood and business collaborative at each UnityNet chapter across Canada as we build this network in Canada. So with regard to the trees, I mentioned right at the last thing as I was leaving our call with this lady in Ottawa, Marie, that what we would like to do, so she is affiliated with a church organization, a Catholic church in Ottawa. So we would like to leverage the Catholic Church's existing network of churches around the world, along with a network of Islamic leaders around the world to help us establish these interfaith neighborhood and business collaboratives. So what originally happened in Bermuda in 2019, when we planted our very first tree of peace and reconciliation here in Canada on September 15th, 2019, to establish the first Interfaith Neighborhood and Business Collaborative was we partnered between Canada and Bermuda, and each one of us planted a tree of peace and reconciliation. And with that planting of the trees in each of our local communities, we were able to begin the process of creating the Interfaith Neighborhood Business Collaborative in each country, in each of the local communities, wherever the trees are planted. So that is actually the purpose of the country chapters that we're creating. The country chapters will go down to the local level in each community, especially the communities that are most marginalized, to plant the trees of peace and reconciliation as the first step toward creating the Interfaith Neighborhood and Business Collaborative in those local communities. So wherever there's like here in Canada, wherever there's a mayor, wherever there's a town council, that will be the first point of entry, along with a church, along with it could be a synagogue or any other faith leader. So we want to bring the faith leadership along to promote the establishment of these interfaith neighborhood and business collaboratives, working with the city, working with the community, working with the elected officials. They might be tribal leaders, not necessarily our system here in Canada. If it's, for instance, in Africa, working with the indigenous communities, working with the Chamber of Commerce, working with the arts community, working with the service clubs like Rotary, like Lions, like all of these NGOs in the community as well, non-governmental organizations, civil society organizations. So this is the idea of planting the tree of peace and reconciliation is the first step toward establishing local community-based partnerships, where those local partnerships, the INBCs, the Interfaith Neighborhood Business Collaboratives, are created at the local level in the local community in order to help to uplift and assist those humanitarian entrepreneurs who are delivering solutions to achieving those sustainable development goals, the global goals, in their local community. So a humanitarian entrepreneur is a leader in the private sector who has a business whose purpose of the business is aligned with implementing some of those sustainable development goals at the local level in their community. So we are assisting to establish those INBCs, the Interfaith Neighborhood Business Collaborative, through the planting of the trees of peace and reconciliation, and the follow-up community engagement programs, the Bubble Fun festivals and the Sunlight Spectacle events, and all of these other things we do, the Indigenous Global Unity Summit, which we do now, where we allow those humanitarian entrepreneurs to showcase what they're doing in their local communities, and to create programs around promoting those businesses, those entrepreneurs. And so what we would like to do this year is begin to develop a plan for all of us to come together, and every local community in every country where we have a chapter, a country chapter of the Global Unity Network, to go into these local communities to begin the process of creating those interfaith neighborhood business collaboratives at the local level in all these communities wherever we have a country chapter. So the country chapter leadership starts to this process of creating the interfaith neighborhood business collaboratives in the local communities. How do we do that? We come together and we do sort of a showcase event on World Environment Day, which is June 5th, where all of us come together on the same day, June 5th, or maybe on the same weekend. Every one of us in all the country chapters plant trees of peace and reconciliation in our local communities in order to engage our local communities, including our elected leaders, including our small business leaders, including the chambers of commerce, including the faith leaders, in at least the the Christian and Muslim or Islamic faiths to have conversations and start building these local networks that will help those humanitarian entrepreneurs in the local community. So the idea is we want to come together on June 5th of next year. So in about 6 months, we want to organize every country chapter to plant a tree of peace and reconciliation in local communities across Africa, across North America, at least in Canada, because we do have a chapter in the US, but they're not really that active yet. We're going to try to help get them up and running and active as well. But in South Asia, in India, in Pakistan, in Nepal, in Bangladesh, in Indonesia, in Southeast Asia, in Indonesia or in the Philippines, wherever we have a country chapter of the Global Unity Network, we want them to start engaging at the local community level to establish these interfaith neighborhood business collaboratives. We do this first by planting a tree of peace and reconciliation in partnership with every other interfaith or every other community in our network on one particular day. So it's a showcase of global cooperation where we all come together and agree June 5th, World Environment Day, we will all plant a tree of peace and reconciliation in our local community and have a local ceremony related to the themes of that tree planting event, which will include peace, reconciliation, partnership, forgiveness, and all of the themes that we're promoting through the network. So we have the ceremonies in all of these local communities as the first step toward establishing the interfaith neighborhood business collaborative that will then have a process that we will create again for establishing these interfaith neighborhood business collaboratives at the local level to uplift our humanitarian entrepreneurs who are in our local communities, who are implementing the global goals through their businesses. So this is the main tree planting project of 2022, probably. But I am also as well having a conversation here in Canada as a result of the fact that the Canadian government, under Justin Trudeau, our Prime Minister, has re-engaged in a conversation about planting 2 billion trees in Canada. So that was an election promise he made in 2015. So that was about 6 years ago already that he made this promise. But it hasn't happened yet. 2 billion trees have not been planted in Canada, far from it. So that, obviously, the pandemic happened in early 2020. We were planning to do something in that realm here in Canada. That's how I got connected to Andrew originally through our Drawdown Markham group, which was going to work and do a project in Prince Edward County to help our government plant those 2 billion trees. So what we had developed is something we called the Collaborative Tree Planting Program. So we were talking about planting a tree in the Democratic Republic of Congo at that time for every tree we planted in Canada. So what our goal was at that time was, instead of the Canadian government and Canadians planting 2 billion trees, we wanted to double them and plant 4 billion trees instead, and plant those trees in our local communities, but plant 2 billion trees in Canada and plant 2 billion trees in Africa. So what we're doing now is we're resurrecting that original concept from 2 years ago and bringing that back to the forefront and saying it's a reverse CTP program, CTP meaning Collaborative Tree Planting Program. So once we have our ceremony to plant the trees of peace and reconciliation in all of the local communities on June 5th, coordinated among all the members of the global unity network to help establish the INDCs in all of the local communities, we can now begin to have conversations at sort of the national level with our national governments from the grassroots, where grassroots communities now go to their, let's say, their regional governments, their provincial governments, their national governments, and say, look, we want to partner with Canada because Canada is planting 2 billion trees. We should be planting 2 billion trees across Africa. Maybe we can do better than that. Maybe Africa is so huge, we can plant 20 billion trees. Let's put pressure on Canada to plant 20 billion trees too. Or at least let's work with Canada to help Canada to plant 2 billion trees in their country and help have Canada work with the rest of the Commonwealth and have every other Commonwealth country and every other Francophonie country, so the 54 countries of the Commonwealth and the 88 countries of the Francophonie and all of the countries on Turtle Island, meaning Canada, Mexico, and the United States, working together with the people in the Caribbean and the people in Central America and Latin America. And Africa is going to plant 20 billion trees, following the tree of peace and reconciliation tree planting. And so is the Commonwealth, and so is the Francophonie, because it's going to be led by Canada in partnership with Africa. So this is the next stage of the conversation, is how do we plant I'm thinking tens of billions of trees led by the leaders at the grassroots, but in conversation with the corporations, with the governments, with the foundations, with the faith communities on both sides. So we can now start having as well the entire global Christian, let's say Catholic community of 2.4 billion followers, working together with the 2 billion Muslims in the world at the local community level, planting trees to help those who are most left behind, planting forests that are productive. Because they're growing fruit and nuts and other things that are providing food security in the communities. But they're also delivering education and training on some of the more advanced solutions. So this is sort of where we like to leverage the tree plantings. So the tree planting, again, starting with the trees of peace and reconciliation, but moving toward tree planting that is productive and practical in our local communities. So this is why the tree planting is very important for the program we'd like to develop eventually, where hopefully when we plant enough of these trees, obviously we can address things like climate change eventually. Like if we can plant, I think there's been plans, for instance, when we originally had our conversations back in 2019 to do this project in Prince Edward County, we wanted to partner with an organization that said they want to plant 1 trillion trees. That's 1,000 billion trees around the world. So the goal was to plant 1 trillion trees. So there's a 1 trillion trees initiative that we could tap back into that. And the 1 trillion trees initiative could be a partner of what we're doing as well. And that again would tie into our plan. So we would say, we're going to help them plant 1 trillion trees through our program. Now, we may not be doing it ourselves. We're not going to leverage necessarily our people on the ground in this call, for instance, to do that tree planting. What we do is we leverage our networks, our personal networks, our business networks, and our community networks in order to have the conversations with those who are able to do those, to identify those resources, to identify those communities, those organizations that are able to do that and implement that solution. So that's sort of the context that I'm coming into this. It is about having these, establishing these community, sort of local community-based conversations and networks that can be formalized at the local level in every community, and bringing our entire network eventually onto what we call this virtual collaborative network, where we're now, instead of, I guess, atomized, because right now we are in all of these separate chats, these separate chat groups. We want to bring everybody together in a single venue, kind of this virtual collaborative network, where we can have conversations like what we're having today, where we don't need to go to so many different places to translate this message repeatedly over and over and over and over again, which is of course what's happening now with all of our groups. So I'll hand it back to you. I'm hoping that's going to provide a little bit of an overview, but sort of keep one date in mind is World Environment Day, June 5th. It is based on actually what Carlos did in Sierra Leone last year.
Thank you very much, Lloyd. You have been so instrumental, and you have been one of the major focal person in terms of this global development package. And in Africa, you, Andrew, Stephanie, Angela, and others that are not here, we want to tell you that we appreciate you, and we're happy with the development logic that is really coming up, and we are ready to ensure that we sustain it in Africa. And so we are sure, 100% sure. So, colleagues, on the 5th of June 2022, we're going to promote what we call a massive global trees of peace and reconciliation planting. This is the focus. From the submissions of Lloyd and others, what you think? What is the feasibility aspect of this particular proposal? How do you think we are going to ensure that this is really, this come to pass or is implemented? And what are the roles and responsibilities or the expectations from our side? And so the floor is there. Please contribute, take 2 minutes to contribute so that we can have this one, this concept ready before February 2022. And a question for Lloyd. A question for you. A question for you. This particular proposal, do you think we are going to do it globally? Oh, Lloyd is saying that the host is not aligned.
Oh, just a moment.
Okay, you are there now. Okay, that's fine. Okay. Andrew.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm speaking. Yes.
Can
I go ahead?
Yes, please. I just wanted to let you know I'm coming in on another device, so I can change the settings so that everyone can share. But yes, I'm here. Go right ahead. Thank you.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you. That's a good one. Okay. So yes, so it goes to you again, Lloyd. I want to know, Africa want to know the proposed tree planting. How are we going to do it? Is it going to be by region, like African continent level, or is going to be at continent is going to be a global level. So this is for Lloyd. Still cannot unmute. No, Lloyd, just go ahead now and talk. Yes, please, you have questions. Do you hear me? I'm not hearing Lloyd. I mean, yes, I'm not hearing Lloyd. Oh, technology. Okay. The host, Andrew, please do something. I don't know if you hear me.
Hold on just a moment here. Let me check the chat. Again, let me come in on another device. I have better control. Give me just a moment, please.
All right. Adele, please just be patient so that we have it right. This is a very important moment for us to submit our inputs so that we'll be readily having. Now you're there. Yes.
Yeah. No, so it worked. So Andrew was able to unmute me. Yeah. So I think this has always been, actually, the Global Unity Network has always been a project to showcase global cooperation. So we had, as I said before, our Tree of Peace and Reconciliation tree planting, Canada, Bermuda. That was sort of a one-off thing. We did tree plantings also in DRC and in the Philippines. But I think this could be a showcase. And I don't know how many we'll be able to get, but it's because we are establishing as well sort of a partnership between what we're trying to do, of course, is establish UnityNet African Diaspora as an NGO to cover all of Africa. That's through a secretariat that's based in Uganda that will help all of the country chapters coordinate so that they can start establishing these interfaith neighborhood and business collaboratives across all of the communities in their own countries. So I'm in the process of trying to do the same thing here in Canada. So the call I had earlier today, why I was late for coming to this call, was this: we're trying to create a second chapter in Canada of our UnityNet Ottawa to complement UnityNet GTA, Greater Toronto area. And we're trying to create and establish UnityNet Canada. So this, I'm wanting this to be a partnership between at least UnityNet Canada and UnityNet African Diaspora. And of course, since UnityNet African Diaspora includes the diaspora, we'd like to partner as well, of course, with every African in the diaspora and every other country and continental chapter. For instance, UnityNet South Asia, which is another continental chapter we're working, plus UnityNet Southeast Asia. But it will be a partnership. So there's nobody from the top dictating how we do this. This is from the grassroots, where we have conversations among ourselves and the leaders of all of these chapters. So we identify the leaders in each local community who can help to develop the partnerships. And those leaders in each local community help to create the country chapters, and the leaders in the country chapters help to create the continental chapters. And then the continental chapters leaders come together as part of the leadership team for the global unity. So the idea is that we want all of our leaders to self-identify themselves, come forward and say, look, we want to help to implement this program. How do we do this? It's unknown at this point, but the idea is that we want to do it. We're gonna use best practices of sort of get what the name is right now at this moment, but sort of using the entrepreneurial skills that we're learning as we move forward to pull together the best program we can for all of our members to be able to implement this. So developing partnerships, for instance, with governments, with corporations, with foundations, with others who can hopefully assist us in, for instance, providing the funds that would allow local communities to buy these trees. We've done this 4 times in Canada, and you've done it 10 times in Sierra Leone. You did it last year with 10 trees of peace and reconciliation and tree planting in Sierra Leone. It's not a huge amount of money required to do this. We've spent pretty much no money doing 4 of these trees here in Canada because we had, first of all, we had the trees donated to us in every case. So we never paid for a single tree. And it's only about bringing together community members during a ceremony. So creating an event which can be done online for free through Facebook events or Eventbrite invitations, and inviting people out to have a ceremony, or plant the tree, have people donating shovels or whatever they need to dig the hole, have the tree donated, but basically having a conversation, setting up a date, saying this is the date we're going to do this, getting agreements with all of these local community members, all of the leaders, and saying, here's what we're doing. We're planting trees of peace across all of these countries in all of these communities. These are the communities we're doing in Kenya. These are the communities we're doing in Sierra Leone. These are the communities we're going to be planting trees of peace and reconciliation in Nigeria and in India and in Nepal and in Indonesia and in the US and in Mexico and wherever we might be in Jamaica. We're gonna coordinate this. We're gonna have a coordinated event. And so this shouldn't take a lot of resources to do this because each local community can identify local resources. If we can identify a corporate partner, for instance, that says, yes, we're gonna donate X amount of money to help all of these communities, we'd like to donate 500 trees so we can get 500 trees in 500 communities across all of these countries. Those are conversations we need to have. So the idea is to just set a date, set a goal, and then from now till that day, have conversations both at the community level, locally, as well as internationally through the UN Global Compact, through our governments at every level, from the local level to the regional level to the provincial or state or national levels, and through these organizations like these multinational organizations, like the Commonwealth of Nations, like the Francophonie, like the United Nations itself, right? Let's start having conversations and saying, okay, we've got a date, we've got a plan, we've got a network, we've got people on the ground. What we need just are resources. So here's what we're going to be doing. I just basically would like to create an action team with people like Carlos and others who are interested in this collaborative tree planting initiative as we start to create these interfaith neighborhood and business collaboratives across all our partners. And I'm seeing Carlos mentioning the Queen's Commonwealth countries. So we can work, obviously we can have conversations with these organizations at the international level, which is part of the reason why we want to interface with these existing well-established organizations who already have these programs. For instance, the Queen's Commonwealth tree, I think they already have a tree initiative, so why not work with them as a partner with UnityNet Canada and UnityNet African Diaspora and UnityNet South Asia and UnityNet Southeast Asia, for instance, and UnityNet Turtle Island, if we can create that in time. But that's what we want to partner these existing organizations, and they'll have resources. They'll come up with resources for us to achieve our results. If we just have this plan. So Ayadele, I guess we'll pass it on to you as long as you are able to unmute yourself. I've seen you have your hand up for quite a while.
Yeah.
Okay.
Adele, please wait before you. The last time you were, this is Lord, you were saying about an international tree planting program that is going to be hosted or collaborated through New Zealand or one of the European countries. And you wanted us to see the partner, the possibility of what we can do, maybe together to promote. And maybe, so I don't know the details around it, so you can say it here. What is it important for that particular international organization that is going to be hosted by, I think, New Zealand, around tree planting, promoting tree planting in the world with UnityNet? Lloyd.
Well, if I may, this is Andrew.
Yeah.
I did put into the chat information about Elizabeth Greenwell. It is her efforts that actually introduced me to Adam Greenwell in New Zealand so that we could both support her efforts on October 4th, which is known as Global Cooperation Day, to have tree planting around the world. Also, that's a very significant day for the people in the Islamic communities, as well as for the Christian communities, because it signified a time of over 1,200 years ago when the saint and the sultan met to establish a bond between Christianity and Islam. So Lloyd, I'll try to unmute him. It looks as though he's having challenges again. But the idea is that what we're doing now is, as Lloyd says, it is a global movement. It is not new. It has been going on at least since 2003. So there are participants around the world. Once we establish what we're doing, I'm confident we can pull in support from others. And I think it's important that we take Lloyd's suggestion, choose one date, such as June 5th, as a date where we can get everyone else to align and support our efforts. So thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. So I was able to unmute again. So I think that actually Andrew mentioned October 4th. So I think that could be our next phase. So this year, I think maybe there could be two major events. So the first one would be June 5th with a coordinated tree of peace and reconciliation tree planting in local communities across our network, coordinated by the country chapters. And then following that, I propose that we have, starting on October 4th, which is Global Cooperation Day, we can probably do more tree planting initiatives. So once we've started to establish these interfaith neighborhood business collaboratives in our local communities from June to October, so June 5th to October 4th, July, August, September, October. So there's basically 4 months. We can start working in those local communities to start doing larger tree plantings. So every local community can start building the INBCs and begin to have conversations at the local level around, can we do a larger community tree planting project where we're planting 100 trees, 1,000 trees, 10,000 trees. So these are conversations I'll be having, for instance, with the city of Toronto, the city of Mississauga, the city of Markham, the city of Ottawa, through our new Ottawa chapter that we're going to start. And so we can begin saying, look, can we leverage a relationship with the city of Ottawa, with the city of Markham, with the city of Mississauga, and their Chamber of Commerce and their corporations and their Rotary clubs, and those conversations can start to happen to say, we're going to now do a larger tree planting of many more trees. These aren't trees of peace and reconciliation anymore. These are just trees, but we want to plant productive trees. We're going to plant fruit trees. We're going to plant orchards. We're going to plant nut trees. We're going to plant food security trees, polyculture forests in our communities. So the tree planting we do now is a garden. We're going to plant a garden, forest garden in our community. So that will be the project to do on October 4th, or at least to aim to bring the community together to plan for the following year, to plant that food forest in 2023.
Pardon me, Lloyd. I apologize.
Because some of these things require planning. Yeah.
I apologize for interrupting, but I'm going to come back to Isaac, whose hand is raised, and I do want to let you know that today's topic, these Monday topics are, I think, specifically towards organizational issues, and what we're discussing now may need to be talked on Thursday, but I'll turn it back over to Carlos, and I think, again, Isaac has his hand raised. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so thank you so much. Yes, and Lloyd, I think all what you submitted is very, very important, and we take note of it, because after this, we're going to ensure that we have a strategic plan ready and ensure that all these ones are filtered, and also together to set up a concept for this intervention. And yeah, so somebody, each one save one organization has donated 200 trees to UnityNet from Sierra Leone, local district, northern region. So that's a great one. So can all of you join me to clap for Nancy from Each One Save One, who has started the race. So everybody's welcome. Thank you, Nancy. Okay, over to you, Ayodele. Go ahead now and talk.
Thank you for your submission, Mr. Lloyd and Prince Andrew. I just want to suggest that for us at the continental level, because the project that we want to do is continental. I will suggest that probably either tonight, because if tonight is going to be the closing meeting, it will be good if we can launch a committee that will come out. Especially, we thank God that in some of the country we have a project directors, which they can come up with the strategic plan for this tree plantation. Number one, each country project director must be part of the committee. We need to look at it. How many trees are we expecting each country to plant? Then, how many trees can we get from each country as a free donations? Then, how can we, for example, let's assume that each country is going to plant 1 million trees. And now maybe we have a donations of 500 or 1,000 or 5,000 or 10,000 trees from different organizations or individual. Then how are we going to get the remaining tree for the planting? So to be able to have because I wouldn't suggest that each country should come up with a work plan on this project, but I have a suggestion that I suggest that let us form a committee at the continental level that can come up with a strategic plans and work plans towards this tree plantation. We can give them a time frame. Maybe probably we can say, okay, we give them either 1 month or 2 months. Whatever, for them to go and plan within 2 months and get result back to us. report back to us. So that is my submission.
Thank you very much, Bishop Ayodele. We appreciate your submissions. And remember what's from Lloyd's submissions is that Africa can plant billions of trees, or every continent can plant billions of trees. So it is our responsibility to ensure we make the earth safe from the potential threats we are facing now from the climate change. And so this is very, very important and is challenging. So therefore, your suggestions are on track. And I've already noted your suggestions. They are on the chat box. Please let's look at them. And for the committee, I just want to answer it straight that we already have what we call the program strategic committee that is responsible for concepts, for all concepts that we are going to look at. So all projects that we are going to look at. So I think that committee has a very strong representation here. It's taking note, and also the minutes are going to be there. So at the end of the day, yes, what you are saying. So this committee should come together to ensure that we start this, what we call these trees of peace and reconciliation project planting proposal, so that we have it ready before time, so that we look at the implications around it, what involves, what it takes, the partnership we need around it, and how are we going to do it, based on what you say, so at country level, what we think we're going to, how many trees are we going to target, at regional level, at district level. This is all the mathematics around it, the dy dx. So thank you so much around that. And I don't know, let's also allow other people, please come up with suggestions as to what we can do to make this wonderful proposal come to existence, so that we join the global team. Yeah, Lloyd, go ahead. Yes. Lloyd, we are still not getting you. Again, we're still not getting you, Lloyd. Oh, Andrew, please. Yeah. Okay, you are there now. Yes, go ahead.
Okay,
yes.
yeah. Okay, thank you. So yeah, what I wanted to mention was as well, and I mentioned this, that Canada is now currently, I mean, this was sort of another conversation that has started up just last week, where there's political pressure for Canada to plant 2 billion trees. This election promise made so many years ago by the Prime Minister, it's not been fulfilled. So I did actually submit a proposal to the organization, the government established organization, to collect ideas around what Canada should do in terms of planting trees. So I formally submitted this document. I'm trying to find the link to the original document wherever, I don't know where it is, where it's gone to, but I would have shared it. But there is a formal process by which the government of Canada is soliciting ideas for what we should do to help achieve net zero by 2050, because that is another goal of the Canadian government. So the government of Canada has said, we are going to achieve net zero by 2050. That is the climate action goal we have committed to as a government of our country. So all the corporations, all the governments, local governments, regional governments, all the all the community organizations, everybody is now aligning toward this goal, achieving this goal, scratching our heads. How do we achieve this goal? So I put in proposal to do what we call the collaborative tree planting program. So based on what Justin Trudeau had originally promised, to plant the 2 billion trees, if we take that at his word that he still wants to do that in Canada, just pulling that as a number, 2 billion trees. If Canada's going to be planting 2 billion trees from now until 2030, which is the goal when they'd like to plant the 2 billion trees, we can align ourselves with that. And the original CTP program, the Collaborative Tree Planting Program, was actually originally intended to double that number from 2 billion to 4 billion by planting the trees in Canada and planting an equivalent number of trees in Africa, originally with our first partner in Democratic Republic of Congo. If we took that number, 2 billion trees shouldn't be difficult for Canada to do. It shouldn't really not be difficult for Africa to do. 2 billion divided by 55 countries of Africa is about 36 million trees on average. So if we take that as sort of a target number, we can now say, look, let's see if we can plant the 2 billion trees at least across Africa as a target. Let's say 36 million trees, but it could be based on geography. It could be based on need. There's a number of different criteria.
Excuse me, Lloyd. Again, I have to ask you to have this conversation on Thursdays. As I understand, today's agenda is to set up the organizational structure for continental Africa. So we're now 2 hours into this meeting, and I have made arrangements for it to continue. However, I'd ask you to be respectful of the time and agenda so that we can conclude this and have an action plan for follow-up. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
I'm off.
Okay. Thank you very much, Lloyd. That's a very good submission. You are always passionate to ensure that we have the right package. Thank you. All right. And so, colleagues, so we're closing now. We have our secretariat ready, which is Uganda, and the compliance system of it to ensure that we legalize our secretariat. The process is currently going on, and we're expecting very soon, between now to the end of January, we're going to end up that particular one. And then we look at possibly at chapter level what's going on. And I also want to appreciate all the chapters who have submitted all their documents requested. So, and we are bringing them together. We are working around them to ensure that we have the Continental Strategic Work Plan together with other policies that will be helping the process at a continental level. And so therefore, please, we are closing now. So please say your submissions as we are rounding up. And is this today the final meeting for us for December? Let us have it clear when we think we are going to resume back in January. So let's have it very clear. And over to you, Ambrose. Thank you. Ambrose, you have 2 minutes, please. Okay, any other person? Susan, do you have anything to say? Susan Iago? Jane?
Not really. I don't have anything to say, but I just observed what Mr. Loy Alfeti talked about the tree planting and the program that we have for next year. And I think it's a good idea, yes, but we'll also have to get to know which type of tree do well in which region. And also it would be a good idea if we'd also be able to plant our own trees so that we can be able to get our seedlings by June. So if we focus to plant our own seeds in the month of January, February, March, April, and May, then we'll be able to get enough seedlings to plant in the month of June, July, August, and September. That's my observation. But if it's a donation, if you're waiting for donation or buying seedlings, I'm sure we shall get the way forward as we go on ahead with other meetings. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Madam Susan. Yes, any other person? So when you think we're going to have our next meeting? This is for Africa at continental level. Initially, I suggested for us to have today is going to be the last date for our continental board meetings. Though we'll be working on the cover for the process to continue and enhance within time frame. And then I also suggested that we can resume back January, was it January 10th? January,
yeah,
let me look at
January 10th.
January 10th, yes, January 10th is going to be Monday, yes. So that was a suggestion, the proposal, and I also noticed a lot of people supported. Okay, Ayodele, you are there. Yes, you have 2 minutes, Ayodele, go ahead.
Okay, I just want to suggest that because as we are going into the break, there is need for us to set up 2 different committees. Number one, the committee on the tree plantation project so that they can begin to meet before the time that every one of us will resume back on the platform. Number 2, we also advise that we should also raise a maybe either 2 or 3 men and women committees that will work together with the team of Uganda in the pertain to the issue of registration of UnityNet Africa in Uganda. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ayodele. I am also posting that one. Yes, any other person you want to submit anything before we close? Willis, yes, Willis Okumu. Yeah, go ahead. Ayodele, can you bring your hand down? Willis, go ahead. Yeah, Willis, we are waiting on you. Okay, so Ambrose, okay, Ambrose already submitted. Any other person that may want to say something? We are closing. Do we all agree for today is the our last continental meeting, and we resume 10th of January 2022? Do we all agree? You can send also your comments and your submissions through the chat box, please, if you can't say anything. Thank you. Okay. Otherwise, I think any other thing else apart from this in relation to how or what or who, how you think we are moving the way forward, apart from all the submissions already?
Well, I would suggest that the Secretariat have a summary of this meeting, and also at the next meeting have an agenda set up beforehand so that we can move in an expeditious manner. Thank you.
I agree with you, Andrew. That is really true. Yes, of course. This particular meeting has a specific agenda before now, but we also have a supported integration from the global business units. I mean, business network. And for me, that one, the chemistry is really, really good around it, because now we have an overwhelming overview of what is happening globally for this tree planting. So this is a very good one. The mixture is very good. So thank you. So, but we take it as a note. We're going to
Yes, Carlos, we lost your voice. Are you still with us? It shows your mic is open, but we don't hear you, Carlos. Under the circumstances, Bishop Isaac, I'll turn it back over to you or to the Secretariat to determine how we proceed or end this meeting.
Yeah, so we are ending. I was saying the final statement, and that I'm thanking everybody, the entire team.
Okay, so I was asked to unmute. I suppose I'm asking everybody or thanking everybody for a fantastic year. If this is going to be the last meeting of the Africa Network, at least for now, until for 2 weeks later, I really appreciate that everybody has worked so hard to come together and to establish themselves in all of the local chapters across the continent of Africa. I'm heartened by the support that we've been getting. It is myself, it is Andrew, it is Carlos, it is AHIABGA-TV. We're all coming together in unity here and hoping that we can really change the needle on how development is implemented, really looking at the grassroots, implementation, pathways, upending, I think, a lot of sort of the traditional models of development that have been implemented in the past. We're starting new conversations, even at the levels of the international development networks that are implementing programs. I can feel the change is taking place already among members, for instance, here in Canada, who are looking at how we can change the pathway for development in communities, for instance, here in the First Nations communities. So,
well, thank everyone for your attendance, and we'll look forward to seeing you at the next meeting. We'll reconnect in the WhatsApp group for any following thoughts. Thank you everyone for attending. Have a fantastic day.